this. I do have a concern that I believe that the members of the court do need to fill out a conflicts statement as contemplated by Chapter 176 of the Local Government Code. And the reason I say that is because I would rather, as they say, be safe than sorry. The conflicts chapters in the Local Government Code talk about a 10% interest in contracts and things like that, and that's not what applies here. But if you look at Chapter 176 of the Local Government Code, it talks about whether or not members of this body have received from any of the proposers individually or a member of your family anything that amounts to an aggregate of $250 in a 12-month period from gifts or anything of value. I know that, for example, Judge, you have a very close relationship with Judge Vasquez. If there's anything of that nature, then you do need to file a conflict statement. I know that there have...
How do you know that I have a close relationship with Judge Vasquez?
I'm sorry?
How do you know that I have a close relationship with Judge Vasquez?
That is common knowledge, Judge. I mean, for years you all have been friends. And all I'm saying is
I have a lot
that...
of friends here that are here.
Well, from anyone else then. That would apply to anyone else, Judge, as well, if they are a proposer in this contract. I know that the issue was raised with regards to the relationship with Commissioner Canales and his employment with UISD. And all I'm saying is that to avoid any problem that perhaps the members of the court should consider filing a conflict statement just to make sure that there are no problems. It is a Class C misdemeanor, and I would rather be safe than sorry in that respect. And we do have a 7-day period within which to file that if the court is contemplating a contract with any of the entities for which a potential conflict could exist. And then the other point I wanted to make is that, as you all know, I did send you all a letter indicating that we were ready, willing, and able to perform this delinquent tax collection task in-house. You've heard from all the firms. I know that Commissioner Tijerina has personal knowledge of what it entails to do delinquent tax collection. And as we've told you all, it isn't rocket science. Any of the firms that were here today could do the collection. But the bottom line is this. It is a situation where the economy is really tough on everyone. When you talk about how much the firm is going to get paid, and if you look at your figures, in the last 12 months, your current delinquent tax attorney got paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $486,000. The taxpayer who is delinquent has a budget. That $486,000, that was money that could have gone into the county coffers and instead went to the delinquent tax attorney.
Let me ask you, did you submit an RFQ as part of the RFQ? Let me ask you, did you submit an RFQ as part of the 2011-02?
I don't have to, Judge. I don't have to submit an RFQ. This is an issue for you all to decide whether you want to contract it out or not. If you choose not to contract it out, then we leave it in-house. That's all there is to it. I don't have to submit an RFQ. I am simply reiterating what we all know, that the money that is paid out to the delinquent tax attorneys is money that could have gone into your coffers. It is money that is limited for our taxpayers, and I'm simply pointing out to you all that the money that goes to the delinquent firm could have gone to Webb County.
Did you submit any documents to Dr. Moreno or to the court in reference to what you're proposing? Any documents at all?
I sent you all a letter. I sent Dr. Moreno a letter. I sent everyone a letter.
My question is, did you submit any documents to justify what you're proposing or what you want to do? I mean, I haven't received anything.
What do you mean justify?
What you're saying, what you want to do, what you're proposing to do.
That I'm giving you the option of not contracting it out? Yes, I've submitted letters to all of you all, including Dr. Moreno. You have that option. Obviously, As you are very fond of reminding me, I don't have a vote. You all vote.
Thank you. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah.
Since we took this in public, Judge, and I have no problem discussing this in public, and we didn't take it to executive session, I'm just going to voice my concerns over, or my personal opinion on this. I know that it has been raised, the question has been raised that I'm a UISD employee. I do not have any conflict or interest in any firm here. There are many AG opinions on conflict of interest, as you know, as an attorney. I think I alluded to that last time. I don't have anything specific, but I can tell you that, as described in the government code, personally speaking, I don't own any ownership. I don't have any ownership on any of the firms. None of that applies to me. I can only speak for myself in this case. As you know, you can go online and read AG opinions as you please. You know, I would certainly agree that it is your obligation, and you have the legal training to make any recommendation that you wish you can make. If you have a certain, if you or anyone in this court you feel has a conflict, I think it's your duty to express it, and you can express it in public, or you can express it in the executive session form. But I disagree. I don't know, personally speaking, I don't have any conflict, any interest with any of the members who have applied for this, who are vying for this contract. I don't have any ownership, any allegiances to anybody here. Obviously, you alluded to friendships. Friendships are everywhere, and I differ in the way you expressed it, but I think
friendship is not a conflict. I
you
didn't
know,
say that.
You know, we could go on and on, Ms. Cavazos, about
Yes,
friendships and how you describe them. Everybody has different adjectives for a friendship. But having said that, I disagree. Politically, there may be some allegations here that have been cast. I think that if anyone feels any different, obviously some of the members that have applied or reapplying for contracts, I think have mentioned some things that are politically motivated too. You know, so but I would differ on that. Now, if I talk about my opinion, I think personally on the fact that and I know the judge was alluding to this earlier, whether you applied or you didn't apply, or you submitted an RFP, I don't know what the rules, regulations, law is on that. I don't think personally, and I'm speaking for myself here, Judge, I don't think personally I'm the opinion that it would not be in the best interest of this county, and I was very forward with you about this, in the best interest of the county. I respect the public comments, but in the best interest of this county to take on this responsibility and ask one of our elected officials, in this case in your capacity, to be filing lawsuits against our delinquent taxpayers. I think it's an extreme conflict. If you're talking about conflict of interest there, my personal opinion is that I'm totally against it. It would put us in a bind, in a position where we have, and I was very open about it, would put us in a position where we'll have taxpayers who need your help. They'll be coming to us, asking you, and based on the recent events of the CAA and the corruption that was taking place, and I don't think it's any secret, I don't think that we're in any in a position to take on a responsibility that would cause further problems and further affect the reputation of this county. So, because of that, that's the main reason that I have. Now, I know that your office is a very reputable office, but I wouldn't want to put your people, your attorneys, our county, in a position where we have to establish plans of action to help our delinquent taxpayers, and afford them the possibility. I think we're doing a good job the way the system isn't broke. I think the system was well in play, but I think it would put us in a very difficult, and it would politically, I think that would be something that would help you tremendously to have the ability to deal with the taxpayers on a daily basis. But that's not the reason. The reason I really feel that we need to move forward and get away from what occurred at the CAA and what occurred, and we can't afford to move in the same direction. We will be backtracking here. And that's all I got to say, Judge. I really wanted to make it public since we didn't go into executive session. I don't think I said anything. I don't want to be a panderer. I don't want to pander the circumstances here. But I just need to say it like it is, and that's the way I feel.
Commissioner, let me just, we're here based on what how the item reads to interview and select the firm. I know we're probably deviating and going to other things, and I really don't want to get into that. I will say this, Ms. Cavazos Ramirez, I'm disappointed in your insinuation, just because I know Judge Vasquez. I probably know most of the attorneys that are here. I've probably dealt with some of the attorneys at a certain point in time, either as a JP or whatever. So I just don't want to get into that with you. I think we're here on another matter, specifically what's on the agenda, and I'm going to adhere to that. And I just want to have Dr. Moreno come up here and tell her basically what we want to do, why we want to proceed. And that's basically,
that.
I just basically want to, that's all I want to do, okay?
I
want to
appreciate
adhere.
that. I'm just
and you're always,
trying to
you're a
give the
stickler,
court
you're a stickler,
advice,
listen to
that's
me.
all.
You're a stickler for agenda items, for the way it reads, and the way it reads is to select the firm,
And my job is to
interview.
give the court advice,
Thank you.
that's all.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just simply
Appreciate it.
caution the court that I'd rather
Thank you.
err on the side of caution.
Thank you, ma'am.
Whatever your personal situation is with any of the bidders, I don't know.
Appreciate it. Thank
And
you,
I'm not insinuating anything.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, I want the court to look at chapter
Thank you, ma'am.
176.
Appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dr. Moreno?
Judge,
Yeah,
before
Commissioner.
we bring up Dr. Moreno, Judge, I just want to make the comment that, Ms. Cavazos, I know this is the second time that you come before the Commissioner's Court. The last time we went through this process, you had brought that again, and I know that the last time we have differing opinions on this, and I've shared that with you from the last time, and only because I do feel that you would be carrying those who are delinquent at the expense of those who are on time, and unfortunately you need teeth. The whole reason we have the discount for people to pay early is to give them an incentive. Well, conversely, I do think you need a consequence as well for those who don't pay on time, and I've always said that even from 2 years ago when you brought it up. I do think it's commendable that you'd be willing to take this on, especially with the experience you have. But those are my thoughts on it, on this situation. And every single firm that has come here has said that they would be willing to work with every single taxpayer, as long as there's a willingness for them to work with Webb County. And so I think that the economic conditions, while they do need to be, they are there, they are very real, and they do need to be taken into account. I think that this court is very united in the fact that the firm that we select, we want them to work with those who are wanting to pay and be good citizens, but may have found themselves in a difficult situation. The ones who we really don't want to work with are the ones who are intentionally trying to make sure that or the ones who don't pay or aren't even trying. And then the other thing is I also do fear the politicizing of the tax collection process. There's a reason why the tax assessor is not elected, or the chief appraiser is not elected, and there have been attempts to do that. And just last session there was, and the testimony from legislators was that they feared that much power in the hands of one individual to be able to control people's financial situations. And I fear that this could further politicize that process, and leaving it in the hands of the private sector, I think is a good balance, because they are at the direction of the political body, but they are doing their own work and collecting that process. Again, more expenses for an office that would provide no return, and we've gone on and on. But the one area, Judge, I do have some concern with is with perhaps the compromising of the legal advice that you've given us, Ms. Cavazos, because you do have an interest in wanting to do this, and I feel that there may have been that the legal opinion may be compromised because you do have an interest in this, and you do want to do this for Webb County. And so I feel that any legal advice that you've given us may be compromised or biased because of the fact that you do want to do this for Webb County. And I just wanted to make those comments for the record. And I don't know, Judge, if perhaps we have an opportunity to discuss this with counsel that is not biased or does not have an interest in this. But Ms. Cavazos, you do have an interest in this. You want to do this, and you're competing with everybody else for this work. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I guess I don't understand exactly what you're saying, Commissioner. If you're saying that we cannot work on getting the best contract for Webb County simply because we were interested in keeping it in-house, I don't see that.
No,
in fact, I would see the opposite. I don't understand.
Well, I don't know if you don't understand or you choose not to understand
Well,
my comments.
maybe
but those
if
what
you
they
could
are.
tell me how our advice is
Yeah,
compromised.
let's go ahead. Commissioner Canales, you have, oh, I'm sorry.
I think it's very clear. You might want to remain on the podium, Ms. Cavazos, because you might have an answer for this. I do think that there is an interest on your part, obviously. I think maybe that's the reason the judge was asking the question, and I'm glad we're doing it in an open forum. The judge was asking the question of, did you submit an RFP? And probably within the law, you probably don't have to, but sending a letter to the commissioners that you want to do it, that's lobbying. In the contract, it does say that to avoid lobbying commissioners or anything. I haven't seen that in any of the firms. If you would be an applicant, I think you would have certainly violated that rule. But I just think that if you have an interest, then I do agree with the commissioner that maybe
I wouldn't have a contract with the county. We simply would do it in-house. There is no contract. We would get no remuneration from it. There would be no additional pay because, as you know, under the law, you cannot charge the 15% if you do it in-house. In fact, all of these firms traditionally over the years have lobbied. In fact, we were in Austin a couple of weeks ago, and one of the firms wined and dined the members of the court. That would be lobbying. I can't see that we are lobbying with the court.
You're making some very aggressive accusations here. I think.
I didn't bring up lobbying, and I didn't lobby with the court, and I don't lobby with the court. I'm counsel for the court.
I'm going to finish up, Judge. If you don't
It's
mind.
just that we're deviating from.
No, I understand, but I think I need to finish up. There is a reason why, and we researched it because I really did look into it to see how many counties in our state do an in-house collection of taxes. There is one county in the whole state, and I believe it's Travis County, that does in-house collection of taxes. There must be a reason for that. There must be a really good reason why there's only one county in the whole state. You politicize the process, it becomes extremely dangerous. There could be many conflicts of interest. You raising the issue about conflict of interest, that could be a major conflict of interest. And I think there may be something to it, but anyway, I leave it at that, Judge. I hope that we can.
Commissioner Tejerina.
Judge, I just want to say one thing. Ms. Cavazos Ramirez, as you said, you are the county attorney, you're here to give advice. The item in the agenda specifically reads, discussion and possible action to interview and select a law firm for collection of delinquent taxes, and that's what we're here for. What you're saying right now is your opinion, only your opinion, and that is public comment. It is not part of the item in the agenda, therefore, you shouldn't even be discussing this with us right now. And second of all, why didn't you do that the first time that you were county attorney? That's all I have, Judge.
Commissioner Cherafa.
Because they mentioned members of the court, I wasn't in Austin.
Okay, Dr. Moreno, can you approach, please?
I wish I was, but I wasn't.
We wanted to take a lunch break. I know there's Ms. Mares here. I know I saw Ms. Mares here. There's another item on the agenda. Basically, what we want to do is maybe take a lunch break, give us an opportunity to tally the numbers, and then come back, hand them over to you, and then go to the other item on the agenda, give you that opportunity. And when we're done at the end, then we'll see how the numbers come up.
Judge, I will just caution if you're going to have lunch.
No, we're gonna
split.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Because if you haven't done your tallies, before you leave, then you don't want to be talking about it.
Unless you all want to do it another way, but I just say during that lunch break, yeah, each one of us are going to go to our offices. a motion to take a lunch break? And
Second.
motion and second, all those in favor,
Judge,
signify. Yes, sir.
Judge, we'll finish work and we'll turn this into Dr. Moreno?
Yeah, when we come back, we'll turn them over. Ms. Maris, let me just, we're gonna take a lunch break, probably be back at, maybe at 2 o'clock. And then at that time, we'll start the interviews for the insurance.
Yes, sir.
And give Dr. Moreno an opportunity, we'll hand over our tally sheets, or score sheets, give her an opportunity to do the scoring, and at the end, when we're done, then she'll announce.
Judge, if I
This
may.
was a little bit different, sir, for the insurance, for the property and casualty and the TPAs. The way it's been set up, of course, obviously, you can do whatever, I mean, do with the court pieces, is just to listen to the presentations and the interviews, and then we need to go back to them for their best and final offer. And we were going to give them a couple of days so that then we can come back on the 12th and figure out if that's their best and final offers.
Yeah, okay.
Am I correct?
Judge,
Sir?
if I may.
Not
Yeah.
really to select anyone?
Not today, if that
I
is.
just had a question. I know it's a second to adjourn for now, but it's just my opinion. But shouldn't we tally now
Well, we gotta be able to, yeah.
before we go for lunch? That way, we're done, and then they could proceed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to you guys. I just.
And, yeah, we'll be back in 30 minutes, so and we'll hand over the tally sheets or the score sheets to Dr. Moreno. Okay, motion and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, we'll be back 2 o'clock. And get the lunch.
Oh, yeah. Hey, those are serious. We need to tally right now?
I'm gonna work on it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna work on these right now.
Do we need to tally right now? Mira.
Court's back from lunch. We don't have Miss Margie Ibarra. Okay.
You invading my property? Huh? So what are we gonna do?
We're waiting for the county clerk, so.
Judge, if I may, as long as the deputy clerk is here, we can proceed.
Lunch, hopefully everybody had a good lunch. Did everybody turn in the score sheet? Dr. Moreno? One of the things that I think was mentioned that we were going to wait until the end, but if you're ready to go and all the attorneys, I guess if you can call the attorneys and they're here, at that time when everybody's here, then you can go ahead and make the announcement. But we can proceed, Ms. Maris. On item number 6 under administrative services, Ms. Maris?
I'm sorry, Judge, if I may, Judge.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
So are we gonna, is Dr. Moreno gonna give us the announcement now, or she?
Well, we want to make sure all the attorneys are here. They're calling the attorneys to make sure everybody's here.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. Item number 6.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Commissioner Cynthia Mares for the record. Item number 6 is a discussion and possible action to evaluate, interview, and negotiate for a best and final offer from agents bidding on the property and casualty insurance, the excess workers' comp insurance, peripheral insurance coverages, pollution, marine, school, leaders, errors, and omissions, and third-party administrators for the general liability and workers' comp insurance. Selection of insurance providers to be determined at the next Commissioners Court meeting and any other matters incident thereto. Executive session may be requested pursuant to Texas Government Code Title V, Subchapter D, and Section 551.071, consultation with attorney.
And I don't know that we need to go into executive session.
No,
Is there a
just,
need?
we just posted it in case that you all felt it, but I don't think there's a need for that.
Yeah.
But let me.
We just simply wanted to, as Ms. Matas indicated to the court prior to the break, the item is simply to hear the presentations of the proposers and for them to give us an idea of what it is that they're proposing to provide for Webb County. You all have a breakdown of some of the costs involved. At this point in time, we wouldn't be making the final selection. We would be making it at the next meeting, and this will allow time between today and the next meeting of the 12th for our consultants to further negotiate what would be their best and final offer to Webb County for their business.
So basically, it's just hear their presentation this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
And ask any questions.
That is correct.
You ready to proceed?
Yes, if I may call Ms. Carolyn Miller, which is a consultant from RWL Group, our insurance consultants. We'd like to briefly walk you through the process. You all got a binder where we gave you the bids that were submitted by these different companies for the different components, and they've all been tabbed. She'll just very briefly give you an overview of what the process entails.
Ms. Matis, are we allowing them any particular time or
Yes,
just
we
what?
told them anywhere from 20 minutes, max, the most 30, but we kind of said 20 minutes if they could to limit their presentations and present to you any material.
Thank you. Are we going to follow this order that's here, or are we taking them as they're
Pretty
coming?
much, well, I think the majority are here, and so we'll pretty much follow that, but whoever's not here, we'll just move them up, and then we can deal with them. I think we have only one company that hasn't arrived yet, McGriff, but.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name's Carolyn Miller, and I'm with the RWL Group. And just to give you a brief overview of the packet that's in front of you, the first page gives you information on what the county currently has for insurance coverages and the costs of the insurance coverages and the agents that currently write the business for the county. The second tab is for the Key and Piscarin group. Tells you what they have provided a quote on. Now, Mr. Larry Gallimore was going to be here for Key and Piscarin, but he had some health issues that arose, and that precluded him from traveling, and so he is not going to be able to be here today. Oh, sorry. Thank you. And he's not going to be here today, but I still have the overview of what they have proposed for the coverages that they have proposed and the pricing. The second group that's here is Wells Fargo. They are your current agent for most of the coverages. And again, the comparison would be, this is what they are offering on this renewal versus what they have had in place for this past year. The next presenter would be the Actually, it's going to be one of the TPAs. That's a third-party administrator. We have in here a spreadsheet for McGriff, but the McGriff folks will not be here, and they have delegated their discussion time to Mr. Jackson, who is slated to be here at the very end. The next tab is an overview of what you currently pay for your third-party administrating fees, for the handling of the workers' comp claims, the general liability claims, auto claims. That is an overview of what's going on now, followed by what is being offered by your current third-party administrator. And then there are two other third-party administrators which have provided a proposal for working for the county, one-to-one claims. And then the last tab is TriStar. Typically what happens in these cases is each of the vendors is given an opportunity to come in and talk to you and give you an idea of what they're offering and what their program is about. I have compiled a list of questions for each of the presenters, which the court you can have a copy of if you would like. Ms. Ramirez has those. In the essence of time, it might be better for the court if these questions that I've already prepared not be actually asked today. If there are other questions that come up, obviously those can be addressed. But the ones that are already pre-prepared, you would have a list of them, and I can send those to the vendors and let them know that these specific questions, in addition to any others that come up during the course of the presentations, would need to be addressed when they provide us with their best and final. I've made the recommendation, as per the specifications, that the best and final be due on September the 12th by close of business, which will allow an opportunity to review and provide the county with an analysis of the best and final offers and a recommendation based on what is in the best and final offers. Are there any questions about the process?